Welcome back to So This Is Vlogmas. It's the 13th of December and it's a Sunday, and I really hope you've enjoyed watching my little Robin come into life yesterday. I've still got him here actually. I can't believe actually I managed to get him all done. The project was a little bit different to what I thought it was going to be, because yesterday what I said to you is that I would probably cut him out in the day, and then I might hand stitch him in the evening, either last night or another evening. But when I traced him out before lunchtime, I managed to trace all the pattern pieces out. I realised there was quite a bit of machine stitching involved in it. Now you have got a choice. You don't have to do it on the machine. You can do back stitches, but these seams where you do the machine stitching are going to be hidden. So excuse me, I've got a little bit of fluff on my nose. So I'm the kind of person that I really enjoy hand stitching and I really enjoy machine stitching, but I really think there's a time and a place. I believe if you're going to just sew a seam that's going to be hidden, I'm all for machine. But I think if you're going to see the stitches, well, not in all cases, obviously I do top stitching on a machine quite a lot, but there are times where hand stitching I think is the one where, you know, where you should go kind of thing. Sorry, I hope I'm getting that across properly. But what I thought I'd mention about the little Robin. Now I know that if you don't have the calendar, you might think, well, this is a little bit pointless for me. But you know, the reason I kind of do these things is for like the people that have the calendar, people that don't have the calendar that might be interested in, and I'm just inviting you into my lead up to Christmas. This is what I'm experiencing. But there is some good news if you want a little Robin, because I thought this Robin is a little bit familiar. And then I remembered Mandy has one in a book. Now, what Mandy did this year, she released a new book, Mandy Shaw, a Christmas book. I didn't purchase the book because all the projects came from other books, because Mandy would always put a little Christmas section at the end of her books, and I own all of Mandy's books, so all those projects I had. She's released 2 books this year, and the other book that Mandy released this year, it wasn't a Christmas book, but it was, all the projects in it was from a secret society that I was in a couple of years ago. So unfortunately the 2 books that Mandy's brought out this year, I didn't really have any need for them. But the plus side for this, if you really liked the little Robin and you'd like to make one, and it's very similar, I think the shape is the same, but how Mandy has sewn it together is different. It's in this book, Celebrate with a Stitch. Now, Mandy always puts the Christmas things at the back. So if I have a look at, here it is. Oh, I've put something in it actually. So here are some little robins. Now, if you have a look at them, there's some blanket stitching around the wings, and there's some blanket stitching going along here, but other than that, they're absolutely identical. Now actually, when I looked at these, I kind of preferred them. If I'm being honest, because I love hand stitching and things, I looked at them, and Mandy's used buttons. Now in the pattern that we got in the calendar, Mandy suggested me French knots, but there was little beads to put for eyes, so I did use the beads, but there's been buttons used in here. But actually, I really like that blanket stitching, and you know what, I don't think it's too late, because if you look at my one, and on the advent calendar picture, the wings puff out quite a bit, look. But it's not too late. If I've got some suitable thread, I think I'm going to blanket stitch all around that edge, and I'm going to blanket stitch all around that edge there, and actually it would look very much like then the robins in here. Now what I did think as well, in the book, Mandy has used fabric for the body of the birds, not felt. Now actually, my idea is this, you don't really have to hide all the raw edges with felt. So if you felt like you'd made the robin and then you'd got to the wings, if you didn't fancy machine sewing all the way around there, like suggested in the advent calendar pattern, and then turning it inside out and things, you could just put the raw edges together and then blanket stitch around it and then stitch it on. You could miss out that step altogether. So there's a little idea for you ladies that have had the calendar. Now when I did show a little bit of the process of making the robin. I didn't show me blanket stitching the feet onto that piece, but I'd showed the blanket stitching going along there, so I thought, how much of that do you need to see? And I didn't show you stitching the beak together, but it literally was a triangle folded in half, and I just whip stitched it under on one bit, and I put that underneath. And another thing I didn't show was attaching the ribbon. Like normally when I'm attaching to ribbon to things, I would normally do it in the sewing process, and when I'm turning it inside out, it's already there. But it hadn't been mentioned in the pattern, so I didn't really think about the ribbon until much later on. So what I did here, I folded the ribbon in half, so the raw edges were here. I didn't tie it at that point, and I just, where the fold was, I just hand tacked it on that seam there, and then I held the ribbon up, tied a knot, and just cut the ends. And that's where I am. But so this project for me might not be finished. There might be a bit of hand stitching getting added to this. I suspect. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a little drink. I've not got a Christmas mug today. I've got a cat mug. I actually bought this for my middle son from Anthropology. I did get it this year. I think I got it like in a summer sale for my son. And I got a picture, you know, oh, I can never say it, you know, a jug basically with the cat on. And the cat just looks like one of my cat buttons. I've got 2 ragdoll cats, and one of them, he almost looks like he's a bit moody, the way he looks at you, and this jug looks just like that actually. So let me have a sip, excuse me. So, right, we're going to open the calendar. I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing. You've seen this jumper this Christmas before, well, this Vlogmas. It's an old jumper. I either bought it from a shop called Bank that closed down, or a House of Fraser department store. I can't remember which actually. And but the brand in the tag is called Pink Soda, and it's knitted. And actually, I bought this a few years ago. My husband bought it me, and I didn't like it. I wore it. I went to an event where you carve pumpkins a few years ago. It's a place called Beckett's Farm, and I did some pumpkin carving. My friend took a photograph of me wearing this jumper, and I looked hideous. I really looked hideous. And you know what? I just didn't wear the jumper. And I'm not wearing that. And I don't know what it is this year. I just thought I'll try it on. And I've seen myself in it in one of my videos. And I think, you know what? It looks all right, actually. I don't know what I was bothered about. Maybe just in the tent, maybe the lighting just wasn't too good. Maybe I wasn't feeling very well. Maybe that's why I looked really hideous in this photograph. And there's another top actually. I bought a top from New Look one year, and it's mustard. It's kind of rib. It does make you sweat a little bit, in all honesty, but it's a body. And I bought a skirt from New Look, and it was a black corduroy fitted mini skirt to wear with it, and it looked a lovely little outfit. But my husband took a photograph of me in a garden centre standing next to this stuffed reindeer, and I looked hideous in that, and now I do not wear it. And also, I don't know if mustard's just not my colour. I made a mustard top. It was my first make of 2019, and I'm standing next to a Christmas tree in my son's bedroom, and obviously mustard clashes with Christmas. I don't know if this is it. and I look awful. So I don't know if it's just the lighting has been really unflattering or poor, but you know, when you just look and you think those colours don't suit me. But because now I've warmed to this jumper, I might try the mustard and see what I think, and make sure I don't wear them at Christmas and stand next to all these Christmas reds, because it's just going to clash. But and have a photograph taken. But there you go. So so yeah, it's a shop bought jumper, basically old, and it's pink. Did I say pink soda? I checked the label because I couldn't remember. So that is that. Now, when I ended my video yesterday, this is Vlogmas, my Christmas things wasn't really over, but I was just ready to just, you know, throw it all together and post it, you know, otherwise, you know, be early hours of the morning probably by the time I would have done it. But I continued to stitch my red work lampshade, and it's the one that I received in the club last Christmas, but I didn't end up doing, and basically, so all the red work is done now, so I will be able to make the lampshade. So this is what I've got so far. That's how the shape of it kind of goes round like that. So I'll be cutting that out, I'll be backing it, binding it, making little bar tacks. So just if you're a dressmaker, you might make a little bar tack for your back button there. I've done that on a couple of garments. You make little bar tacks and then you sew buttons on. And yeah, I'm really excited because I've made a number of lampshades. I've got like a sewing theme one. I've got what else have I got? Autumn. Yeah, I've got what else? Halloween. Yeah, no, Halloween, same as the autumn. Well, I've got a number of them. And a summer one with bees on. And I haven't made the Christmas one. I haven't made the Easter one from last Easter. And there's a patchwork one as well, and I haven't done that one. So once I've completed this and I've done the Easter one and the patchwork one, I'll have completed all my lampshades that I received in the 1 year of lampshade club that I was in. Basically it's a bi-monthly club I was in. You got a lampshade every other month, but when I got to the year, because you have to stay in it a year, I ended it, not because I wasn't enjoying it or didn't like the lampshades, it's just because the lampshades were building up on me, because I was doing other projects and they were just building up, and it's been nice actually starting to catch up on them, you know, so that's lovely. So I don't know if I would join the lampshade club again, because I've got so many different themes. What I would probably do, Mandy eventually sells the ones in the kit, in the club as a kit. They cost more than what you'd have paid doing them in the club, but I might not want all of them, so I can just kind of cherry pick one here and there that I want, you know, but they do cost quite a bit more, I think, doing it that way. Excuse me, I need another drink. Right, so I'm going to open my calendar. So yes, I don't really want to tell you what my plans are today. Well, I never know what my plans are really. I just kind of, I know I'm doing this in the calendar, and I kind of just see how it goes. And it is Sunday, isn't it? And I actually, before I open it, I have done a load of jobs this morning, you know. I had breakfast, dishwasher, putting washing on, vacuuming and things. And I even managed a little bit of crochet in bed this morning, which was quite nice. After breakfast, I just sat and done some crochet. And I've realised that the crochet project I'm doing, there's lots of little bits I can carry on this project. But this year, I'm only going to do the one part of it. And I've realised now I've picked it up again, I haven't got much more to do on it. So I'll have a little crochet project to show you soon as well, which is exciting. So here we go again, day 13. Actually, I saw a post on Facebook that a lady got upset because she thought she hadn't got something in her calendar. She thought there was something missing, and what it is, her husband had told her the wrong date. It was the 12th, and he told her it was the 11th, so she went rooting around in her box, getting all annoyed there wasn't an 11 in there, forgetting she'd already opened the 11 and it was 12 she was meant to be looking for. So I can't, it might have been Christine and that, I can't quite remember now, but whoever that was, that did really make me chuckle. I did appreciate seeing that post actually. So here is day 13, so that's the size and that's the thickness. So they're getting so easy to find. Oh, it's getting so close to the end, isn't it? I can't believe it. I'll try and do this as swiftly as I can, not too much noise. Yesterday, actually, because when I was opening it, I just cut the tiniest bit of the video out, so you didn't have to hear the whole of the rattling. So if ever it goes a little bit weird, sometimes I've just, if there's a bit of a dead space, I used to just, leave these dead spaces in before I could edit, but now I can kind of whittle them down a little bit now. I'm intrigued. Ah, I think we got something like this last year, actually. So can you guess what that is? It's ribbon. It's some Christmas, it's East of India ribbon. Now, Mandy did put a number of East of India things in last year. And it's lovely. It says, with much love, and there's little hearts. And actually, even though it looks quite festive. Oh, actually, Mandy, do you remember I was going on about Mandy's threads? She's got two different kind of reds. She calls the bright red just red, and she calls the deeper red. Can you see that's kind of like bright red? And this is the deeper red. Mandy calls that Christmas red. So that's what I was trying to get at. I was kind of calling it one orangey red, but it's like just red and Christmas red. Okay, so this is what Mandy would call Christmas red. So that's nice, isn't it? I really like that. And actually, because it just says with much love, you wouldn't have to use it at Christmas, would you really? You could use it anywhere. So that's really delightful. So I'll pop you over to Mandy's website now, and then I'll bring you back to me, and we'll have a bit more of a chat. So back in a minute. Day 13 ribbon. Present wrapping should be well on its way, and I spend a lot of effort decking mine with trims and ribbons. This will be perfect for that special gift. Okay, I'm back. Now, I hope you really enjoy seeing the little bit of Mandy's website. Only Advent calendar people can actually access that part of Mandy's website. We've got a special password to get into there. So actually, I hope Mandy doesn't mind actually that I'm showing that on the internet. I suppose maybe I should have asked for permission really, but it's not like and you're getting any free projects or anything. If it was like you were getting free projects from it, obviously I wouldn't do it, but all it is a picture of what you get in your calendar. And what you might have noticed on that little video that I just showed you is that the picture of the ribbon on there was actually grey with white stars. So I'm guessing we're all going to get different ones today. We'll all get a different kind of ribbon. So I'll be interested to see what everybody else gets actually. Maybe you message me in the comments and tell me what you got. That would be nice. I'd enjoy that, knowing. Another thing about going back to the robins, the Christmas book that I mentioned about Mandy's that I don't own, and the reason I don't own it is because they're all these little different Christmas sections out of previous books all put together. The book is called Mandy's Magical Christmas, and it looks like that. Now, I don't own the book, but I do own the iron-on transfers, because I wasn't sure if I owned all the iron-on transfers for Mandy's books, because I might not have bought all of them when they were released. I'm not quite sure. I think I did actually, but I might not have bought the iron-on transfers back then. So I don't know if I've got them all. But this was all the iron-on transfers for that new book, the new Christmas book. So it just means any Christmas project in my old books, I should have the iron-on transfer for the red works in there. Because you can trace, I do sometimes trace designs or just pencil them in and things, but sometimes it's quite nice, isn't it, to have the iron-on transfer. So yes, so I think that's all I want to say about the calendar today. I don't know what I'm going to make today. Obviously, I'm getting quite frustrated actually about my caroling pyjamas from Closet Core Patterns. If you've been watching my previous videos, you'll have seen that I wanted to make the pyjamas, the shorts version and short sleeve. I completed the shorts, and I've actually made most of the top. I've basically got a back piece and front pieces sewn together. It's got a collar, but I can't continue anymore because a lovely lady Jill offered to send me some fabric because I didn't have enough. I don't think the fabric from Crafter's Companion was very wide. I had 2 meters of it, but I think it was a more narrow fabric than normal, so I just didn't have enough to cut the sleeves out of it. And the plaque, that kind of, like, I think you'd call it like, well, basically it is like a facing. I wasn't sure if it was the facing. I think it is anyway, because sometimes if it's not labelled facing, then you're not too sure until you get into that project. If I'd managed to cut the sleeves out of the fabric I owned, I could have just used something different underneath. It would have bothered me a little bit when I opened it, seeing something different, but I could have carried on. But Jill has posted it at the start of the week and it's just not arrived, and we have chatted and we're crossing our fingers that it's going to arrive. Jill did say that she was expecting something Thursday and it didn't come till Saturday, so it might be just that the postal service are just overwhelmed. But I have been posted things from people before that have gone missing, and I'm a little bit fearful that this fabric is never going to turn up. There is another lady that has offered me some also, and she said, look, just let me know if you need any more. Let me know if you need any more. It's not enough what Jill's sending. Let me know. So I have got a backup. I've got to kind of wait to see if this one turns up. If it doesn't, contact the other lady and ask if she would mind sending me some. Then I'd have to wait for it. I'd have to pre-wash it, dry it. So it's just going on and on and on, and it's just really disheartening actually. And I haven't really fancied doing any more dressmaking, because I would not normally start a dressmaking thing and start another, not normally. So but it's getting to the point now I'm really missing dressmaking. Like making something for Polly did give me a little bit of a fix. Oh, I've just dropped us that. It did give me a little bit of a dressmaking fix, I must admit. But yeah, I'm itching. Like I do. I've been going on about things I've wanted to make, haven't I? And I've wanted to make the Billy sweatshirt, and I've really wanted to make the toaster sweater and things. So all these things will be up and coming. But yes, I do want to finish my Carolyn pyjamas. I'm feeling a bit sad about it actually. And I made them in red with contrasting white because I was thinking Christmas. I thought they'd be really nice fancy pyjamas to wear on Christmas Day. You know, the smartest pyjamas I have ever owned in my life to wear on Christmas Day. And it looks like I might not have them. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to wear Christmas Day actually. I'm actually, at least I'm thinking about it. Normally I don't even think about what I'm going to wear on Christmas Day, and it gets to Christmas Day and I think, oh, I haven't thought about what I'm going to wear, and then I go in and I've gone in my wardrobe and I've got all these bobbled old tatty things. I think this year I've had more to wear than I have. Like normally the summer I really struggle, but because I made a few little dresses and little things, it really kept me going actually. And some little cami tops and some little linen shorts. So I felt quite, normally I feel like really underdressed. I don't know, I just don't feel right. I had a certain kind of style for years in the summer, but I really don't like that style now. And I've kind of matured and I got a bit smarter, and I actually had a little bit more to wear, which was nice. And I feel like I've had a little bit more to wear this year, because before, when I wasn't really making myself any like sweater jumpers and things, it would be like it was potluck what I'd find in the shops. And it'd be like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to find a jumper I actually like this year. It was kind of like that. But now I've made a few different jumpers. Like I'm still kind of testing patterns. If you've noticed, I've made like one Astoria jumper, one Linden jumper, one Ondi sweater. I've been making one of everything. but I will revisit and I'm going on to do more. I'm going to do the toast, I'm going to do the billy, so I'm kind of making one of everything. But I suppose over time I'll kind of get a feel for what I want out of a jumper, and I'll mix and match. I might think, wow, I like the sleeves, I might do a bit of this, and I can kind of go a bit rogue, can't I, and mix them all together. So I'll probably find the absolute ultimate jumper in time, won't I, after I've tried them all and find out what I like, which is quite nice. So yeah, thank you so much for listening so far, and hopefully I'll be back later with something of interest, whether it be Christmas or not, or something Christmas. And I didn't show you anything in the garden room yesterday. Actually, I didn't want to bother my husband really. He said yesterday he was going down there, and he said, off I go to the pit of doom. And I thought, oh gosh, I felt really bad for him, because I think he had a nightmare, because he bought paint and they mixed it and it had all bits in it, and he did complain, and they said, oh, don't buy this time of year these big massive tubs, because that can happen. Get the smaller ones. And I think they gave him some replacement, couple of smaller ones actually. So he said the paint's going on a dream now. So I think the stage he was at before he went out this morning, he just needed to do the second coat of 2 walls, I think. So the neck, and then I think he's going to start some plumbing for the toilet. Basically, our neighbour is doing the second fit electrics. Second fit electrics is when you're attaching all the sockets, and then, you know, the lighting wires are in, but you kind of attach the lighting, I think. I'm no electrician. So my next door neighbour's doing that, because what my husband and my neighbour do, they kind of do things for each other. It's quite nice, isn't it? You know, so yeah, it's like a bit of an old-fashioned kind of way of living, I suppose, isn't it? But yeah, but I like that really. So and actually, I'm going to mention what I bought my husband for Christmas. I'll just have another sip. Now, when I ordered this for my husband, it was all about my husband, right? I bought him some Christmases ago a course, because my husband is a carpenter by trade. That was his first profession, and actually when I met him, he said, yes, when I asked him what he did, he said, oh, I do Jesus's work, you know, because Jesus was a carpenter. I thought, oh, okay, you quite like that. So anyway, I sent him on a course to do wood turning at a place not too far from here, Earlswood. There's like a craft centre, and it was a day's wood turning, you know, when you kind of turn the wood and you can make things like bowls and spoons and you know, that kind of thing, and chair legs and things. And my husband made a plant dibber and gave it to me, and I might have it's quite a while ago now. If I can find the photo, I don't know, but if I can, I'll show it you. But look up plant dibber if you don't know what one is. It's kind of like a pokey thing with lines on it. So when you're planting your bulbs in your garden, you know how deep, you know, if you know this bulb has got to go this deep, you kind of know the measurements, and that's what he made. And I was intending one Christmas to send him back for another course, like a bit more of an advanced one. But my husband said, oh, it's not really any much point, because I haven't got a lathe, you know, at home. So that is what I bought him for Christmas, and that's what arrived, and he took the delivery in and it wasn't wrapped up, so he knows what it is. So it's really gutting, but he's really excited about this lathe. He's got nowhere to put it. He said he'll have to probably build a shed for it to go in, but there you go, another shed, another project for him to do. Not like that, not like he hasn't got enough to do. And but then, even though it was all about him, then I was thinking, oh gosh, the possibilities. I was thinking I could make like a fabric tuffet, and he could make me little legs for it. He could make me little stools. I thought he could make me, do you know when bag handles, you know when you need like a bag handle that's straight, a wooden one. I've got like a carpet bag pattern. I thought he could make me the wooden handles for it. And so I'm just thinking, I'm going to my husband, you could make this, you could make that. And he's going, did you buy this for me or for you? But I wasn't, it's only now we've got it. I've just been thinking about all the possibilities, and then actually he said to me, well, when I'm all set up with it, I am going to need an apron, and I thought, leave that with me. So when he's all set up with his lathe, I'm going to make him a lovely apron, and I'll really enjoy doing that for him. And I'm going to embroider something quirky, either his name or something nice, or some jokey thing about wood, you know, kind of thing. So so yeah, that's something exciting project to maybe. Hopefully you'll be all set up next year. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So that's all about my husband and his Christmas gift. And I have suggested, because I always make his Valentine presents. I buy like sometimes a few little bits and bobs from the pound shop and make up a little hamper and things. Actually, the hamper I made for him last year of all these Valentine things I've made and bought is on YouTube somewhere. But so it might have been a video maybe either leading up to Valentine's, and I might have told him not to watch it, or it might have been just after Valentine's. And so I'd like him to make me a present. So I said, oh, you know, you can make me a Valentine present, can't you? So yeah, I think he's like, oh yeah, here we go, something else you want me to do, kind of thing. So I don't want to put too much pressure on him, do I? So anyway, I'm leaving it there, and hopefully I'll be back later with some more festive fun. See you later, bye. Right, I'm back. Hopefully you've seen a little snippet of me doing some blanket stitching again. If you wonder what this is the claw that I was trying to film off. It can be a bit of a nightmare, this claw, because sometimes to get the right angle on the camera, it's right, I'm having to sometimes work like this with the thing in front of me, but I've tried to angle it really high and over to try and not get in my way. So I just did a tiny little bit of stitching on the camera. But what I've ended up doing is I've blanket stitched the, I'll explain why the pins are in it in a moment. I've blanket stitched round the wings, and I've blanket stitched all the way around this brown here, look, round the tail, and basically all the way round. I think I started it, I started it on one of the sides here, and then I'd finished, and then I thought to myself, well, I looked at Mandy's in the book, and I think what Mandy's done with these ones is that she's blanket stitched the wings onto it. That's how she stitched them on. But in the advent calendar, it tells you to glue the wings on, and it doesn't tell you to do any decorative stitching. But I didn't glue them on. I just like did some hidden stitching with the wings on. But then I wasn't keen. When I looked at Mandy's and I looked at mine, my wings were like, even though they were not as puffed out anymore, they were standing up on the edge, and I wasn't keen. And then I kind of wished that I'd actually blanket stitched the wings down onto the body. So what I've done is I've got some fabric glue, some tacky glue. I've just glued, because my wings are attached in the middle, I just glued underneath all the way around, held them down, and I just thought for extra security I've put some pins in. So hopefully when that dries, look, I'm going to leave that for a long time now before I attempt taking those pins out. And hopefully the wings will sit flat. So my poor little Robin is full of pins at the minute. What a shame. But I think I'm going to like the end result a lot better. And while I've been stitching that, I'm sorry I didn't do a lot of filming. It's because I got a little notification on to say that John Scott was live, and he's doing his live feed. So he's actually still on. So I've actually quickly nipped off to tell you about this. And I'm going to go now and carry on watching John. And you might see my name pop up. If you watch him, you might see my name in the chat, the odd place. So yes, I'm back on there in a moment. Bye. halfway along now, and I just thought I'd stop and I'd show you what that looks like. And I'm going to continue that again, taking my needle through the hoop, and you're basically looping that fabric, that thread, over those bar tacks like that. I'll do that again, needle in, coming through front of your thread, your working thread, and it looks like that, and pull, and just continue with that. Okay, I've got all the way to the end of that now, and I've cut my thread a bit shorter now because it was getting a bit tangled, so I don't normally like leaving myself just a tiny little bit. So now I'm going to just seal that by going into my fabric, pulling it so there's a little loop. Make sure your loop isn't twisted, and tightening that, and then one more, tighten that. If you want it to disappear, just move that thread out of the way because I'm going to knock it off anyway. Now take this, can you see this? Basically where your tack starts, take your needle back into your binding, bring it out a bit further up like that, pull your needle through like that so it's coming out, and then kind of give it a bit of a yank. Snip that off there, you can kind of make that disappear then, and there you go, that's your first tack. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other corner, then we'll fold it in half and we'll work out where to put the one in the middle, and then I'll show you the next stage. Right, here's a lampshade I've made before, but this one we use press studs to attach it, just a couple of press studs on either side. So I'll take that off. Actually, I'll show you that design. That was one of my summer ones, the bees. So now I'm going to try this for size. So I hold it round like this, and I see what kind of fit that I want from it. Now, if I'd have thought about this better actually, I would have put the bar tacks on that side, I think, if I'd have really thought about this, and put the buttons this side because there's a bit more open space and the join is there. But actually, so bear this in mind, actually I've put it that side, so it now means my join is going to be exposed and I'm going to have to put my buttons possibly on top of my red work. You kind of can manipulate it a little bit, so I could put my buttons just onto the binding like that, so, and I think that fit would be okay. I'll have a little fiddle around with it because it's hard to do with camera, and I'll decide where I want to have my buttons, but I hope you get the gist of that. Right, I've stitched my buttons on. Now don't be alarmed, they look like they're a bit staggered. Can you see they're kind of not in a line? But that's how it best fitted my lampshade. So that's how I've stitched them on, and then you'll see when I put it on. Turn it on, and that's what it looks like on. That's the stand. It's an antique bobbin. Put a lampshade.